Our captains this week offensively is Brady and Obi. It'll be a first time for Obi and Malik Gant and Chase Hancock on defense. As you know, every time you go on the road like that, we play pretty well on the road lately, is you got to take your leadership and your toughness and going in the environment we're going to go into. I've been in that environment a couple times, and it's a great environment. It's a fun environment, but you got to make sure you get great leadership and toughness when you walk into a place like that and get ready to play. So it'll be a great challenge for us. I mean, you can. Anytime you get a team from the SEC that wins 9 games and wins their bowl game, they got good players. And this team's no different. Bentley, the quarterback's a 3-year starter now. He's tremendous. Samuel, some people think he's one of the top receivers in the league, and they've got a good player at about every position. So we're excited about it. Kids are looking forward to it. He's got to have a great week.
Coach, how do you go about your week and try not to worry about the distractions?
You just can't. We just go. I mean, we just, as far as we're concerned, we're playing. We're just, today will be a normal Tuesday, and until they tell us otherwise, we just go full speed ahead and go. So right now we're just going as we're playing.
So look at South Carolina, and they didn't really run the ball that much against Georgia last week, but do you expect them to try and run a little bit more this week and get that game going?
I'm sure. I mean, you watch that Georgia team. I mean, there's nobody runs the ball against Georgia. South Carolina. South Carolina was a little different in that game, as you mentioned, because I think they threw it 40 sometime. They had almost 40 plays, 40 plus plays in the first half against Georgia, which is a little unusual. They tried to win some empty stuff, came out to some things a little different, tried to throw it around a little bit. But they're like I said, they're an excellent team, and they got good backs, they got good offensive line, the quarterbacks are better, and so they can do a lot of things.
Your all's run defense to this point, I know that, Eastern had some yardage, but they went to basically a quarterback run every single down in the second half. And from a yards per attempt standpoint, y'all are still right at that 3 range, which is pretty good.
You're 3 or under, you're playing pretty good run defense. The Eastern thing was a little bit, we had, of course, we practiced against, what they did that second half prior to that. They hadn't shown that prior to our game, and so a lot of option stuff with that quarterback, and I just felt like they probably felt that was the only way they could try to get, move the ball. And thought our defense lined up and responded pretty well to it with the tough situations that we put them in. So, Mickey Bash stuff and all that stuff with that quarterback was something that we do have practiced in the past, but not something that they showed prior to the game. So I thought our defense did a good job adjusting to the second half.
What is it that makes your all's run defense that solid? Is it the cohesion that the guys have? Is it the ability to get off blocks? What is it?
Well, I think it's coming. I mean, Malik Thompson's playing pretty well in there. Malik Thompson's a guy that, I talk all the time about seniors playing their best football, and there's a senior who hadn't played a whole lot of football, and now he's been our champion 2 weeks in a row, which is just a great tribute to him, about him wanting to work every day, and he's become a really good player in there. And of course, Hames has grown up some, and he lines Juwan up, and those linebackers are all veteran guys. So I think it starts with players, and they've done a pretty good job of stopping the run. That'll be a big thing on Saturday as well.
Preparation-wise, do you all do anything different this week? Practice with wet footballs or anything like that to try and get acclimated to conditions?
We do that every Wednesday.
Okay.
Every Wednesday we have wet ball drills, regardless. And so we did that last Wednesday. Had somewhat wet balls Saturday night there, so that may help a little bit. But we will do that again on Wednesday, and we'll make it as well.
Your kids responded pretty well last year going to Raleigh. Some of those guys were there. Obviously, they enjoyed playing in the big venues, and that's why you play football.
No, it is. That South Carolina venue, I remember they weren't winning a whole lot of games down there for a period of time, and they were still sold out every game. And you go in there, and it's been a long time since I've been in there. I was there once with Florida and once prior to that, a couple times prior to that. And it didn't matter if they were 0-8 or 9-5. I mean, they showed up, and it's a loud venue, and it's a fun venue. Our kids enjoy those venues, and you should. I tell them from the time they're just little kids, they dream about playing in venues like that on national stage, on national TV, and whatever. And that's just an opportunity that they're going to have, and they're excited about it.
Yeah, Sam Burton joined Stephen Gilmore as the true freshman to play. What do you think of his?
He played a play or two against Miami.
Oh, did he?
And, but he did. We like him a lot. He's a guy that we got on. After that early signing period a year ago that hadn't signed, and we like him a lot. We're glad he's here. He's going to be a good player.
How excited is Gilmore to play against South Carolina?
I think there's no question he's excited. I mean, I know we went to camp down there early on. They had offered him early on, in the process as we went to camp down there. And of course, I think anytime you're a kid from the state of South Carolina, you're playing in the university, the state university, and you're going to be excited.
How big of a recruiting game is this for you? I mean, that's an area, it's close to Georgia as well. Those Georgia guys that you all look at can get there a little bit quicker than Huntington if the weather presents itself.
I think anytime you can play a Power 5 opponent, of course South Carolina's got a lot of tradition. They're big, and they, like I say, they're very successful last year, and a good opponent, on a national stage on national TV, then it helps you recruit. Whether it's South Carolina, going to be NC State here coming up here in another week, and so I think anytime you can get the program out there playing this kind of school, it's going to help them. Those kids they want to play in those venues, and it's critical for recruiting.
It seems kind of odd because you don't look at a guy that's projected as a potential first round receiver to be overlooked, but the Edwards guy, because Deebo Samuel attracts so much attention, do you feel like Edwards is a little bit overlooked for them?
I think they're all. I mean, they got, like I said, they got a good, and they should. I mean, you're in the SEC with the amount of money they've got and the players they've got around them and the schedules they play and the facilities and all that they have available to them. I mean, they're able to recruit, really good players. And South Carolina's got a lot of, when I was at Florida and NC State over the years, Carlos Dunlaps and all those guys came out of South Carolina. That we had at Florida, and Clemson and South Carolina are keeping those guys at home right now. But for the most part, they got good players. But if you're in the SEC and you're playing, the Alabamas and the Auburns and all those people in that league, you better have a good player at every position to get exposed, and they do. They're getting closer to where South Carolina. Will's done a great job there. He went in there and he's probably had a schedule where he thought he would be at this point, winning 9 games a year ago, and he's done a great job there. He's got good players and they're well coached.
Are you confident with Isaiah, 2 games in, going into a place like that? I mean, he's handled himself pretty well this fall.
I mentioned early on prior to the Miami game, I said he's got a little Cato in him. He's overcome a lot of adversity in his life, and walking into arenas like that doesn't really bother him a whole lot. So that's a good thing, and he doesn't seem like he gets rattled a lot, which is good. He's had the 1 turnover in the last 2 games, and that wasn't really on him. But that's, for the most part, he's taking care of the ball, and it'll be exciting to watch him walk in there, and I guarantee he'll have a smile on his face. Hopefully he has one after the game.
Last week was a game in which you were wanting to get some guys some work, and the situations didn't necessarily present itself. Was there a chance that we would have seen Alex in that game, or what's his status?
He's ready to play. I mean, if he gets a situation where we can get him in, he's going to go ahead and play. I mean, he is our backup quarterback, and he's taking all the reps in practice. And if we get that situation where he needs to play or will play, he'll go ahead and play. Okay, all right, guys, keep your fingers crossed. And hopefully we can get there.